Hey there, it's Charles with MTG The Journey. Today we're looking at some spoilers that came out last night. I was a little busy, so I didn't get a chance to sit down and make this until now. But this is the first one. It's called Toss's Rebuff. It is a countered spell, an instant, and its text is counter target spell unless its controller pays X, where X is your devotion to blue. So this has a potential to be really powerful, but really I think the only thing that's really going to play this is probably the mono blue decks. It seems like we're going to get a little bit of a cycle of these type of spells, but not all of them are really tying into devotion, it seems. So we'll kind of look forward, and as we see some more of this stuff, we'll do some more series on what we might expect to see out of these things. The second one we have is, of course, Unravel the Aether. Choose target artifact or enchantment, and its owner shuffles it into his or her library. This honestly seems pretty good for green. I like it because there's a lot of artifacts and enchantments coming up that they're going to need to deal with in order to have a progressive game state. Besides just the overall ramp. But I don't think this honestly sees a lot of play in those type of ramp decks anyways. I think this is more of a going to be seen in a Golgari control type setup. It just feels to me like what's going to be playing this card a little bit more. Next one up we have is Bioblight. This is actually I'll talk about a cycle of these later, but I think there's going to be a cycle of these coming up. This is an instant. Target creature and other creatures with the same name as that creature get -3/-3 till end of turn. This seems really good. The double black's a little crazy costed, but I mean, this knocks off so many things, like the white weenies decks, a lot of the ramper decks. This could hit real early on. You let them get some stuff out, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. This hits your Sylvan Caryatid, it hits your Colonian Tuskers, it hits your Elves, your Ramping Elves. This hits a lot for ramp. For your aggro decks, this helps you stabilize in your mid range, because a lot of their stuff is going to be real small and to your face. So I think this card is going to see a lot of play, a lot of constructed play. Next up, we have Carametra, the God of Harvests. This one was spoiled actually after Xenagos, so we will get to Xenagos here in a minute. As long as your devotion to green and white is less than 7, Carametra isn't a creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a force or plains card and put it onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle your library. I think this is useful. I think the Selesnya decks are going to play the crap out of this. They have a lot of low costing creatures, a lot of ramp, and a lot of just getting stuff out very quickly. And this is going to give them more ramp as they play their creatures. So they're going to worry about their ramp a little bit less, but her casting cost starting off is 5. So she might be a little bit more difficult to play, but I don't think so. I think this is going to get abused to death. I think Selesnya is going to be a huge thing because of this card now. That ability to get yourself land is just incredible. Next up we have Searing Blood. Searing Blood deals 2 damage to target creature. When that creature dies this turn, Searing Blood deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. This seems really good for red. It seems like it has almost the same effect as what the black one, the Blood Vial, had. It seems like it's going to be played a lot. I mean, you can do 2 damage to a creature and deal 3 damage to the controller. I mean, this is a Lightning Strike and a Searing Spear with the 3 damage to the controller. And then it's got a shock effect in here as well. I mean, it's just, this is a good card. So, here we go with Xenagos. Another 5 casting cost for a 6/5. As long as your devotion to red is less than 7, or red and green is less than 7, Xenagos isn't a creature. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets XX until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. So it seems like once again he's kind of a booster. Seems like this is going to be pretty relevant overall. I mean, probably a little bit more so than some of the rest of the gods, but they all so far seem to have pretty darn good effects. But basically he's just a creature booster. Other than that, he's just a 6/5 indestructible guy. I'm not super impressed with him, but we'll see. This one I am kind of intrigued. He's the Minotaur General, pretty much. Minotaur spells you cast costs 1 black, 1 red less to cast, and it reduces the only amount of colored mana you pay. So your colorless mana can be anything, and it just reduces that. So some of the bigger Minotaurs are now playable. So I do think we'll see a Minotaur tribal this time. Fits perfectly with Mogus as being a Minotaur, and get a bunch of these little guys out and cast Mogus. So I can see Minotaur aggro tribal being a thing. And these are the ones I want to talk about. Bioblight and Scorching Blood. They both have double casting costs. So I think we're in for a cycle of these. I think we'll see a double green, I think we'll see a double blue, and I think we'll see a double white instant. So I think that's coming up. And I also think that we will see another, go back to the opening page here. I do think that we'll see, in black I think is where it was. Yeah, this Bioblight right here. And we have a, this Mind Reaper over here on the side. I know you can barely see it, it's kind of cut off by my screen here. But it's a double blue casted cost creature, and I think we're going to see a cycle of that as well, with the double casting cost ability here as well. I think that's going to be a cycle thing as well. So I think that's coming up for us. So we'll see what we get today. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your opinions are, and we will see you soon with more spoilers. Thanks again. This has been Chuck with MTG The Journey.